Welcome to Deep Rock Galactic. Now if you're not living under a rock, hopefully you've heard of this game, and if so, you've probably heard good things about it. Now I like DRG, perhaps a bit too much, but is it really that good? Spoiler alert, it is.
Beautiful morning, yeah, the sun in my morning bed.
This is the space rig. Whenever you're not collecting precious minerals or stomping bugs in the unique biomes of Hoxie's 4, here you will spend most of your time drinking beer, dancing, kicking around the barrels, drinking beer, flying around jet boots, playing Flappy Bird, and drinking beer. Now there is a lot of content and stuff to do in this game, like a lot. Before I started playing DRG, I was honestly overwhelmed with how much there was and all the mechanics to learn, so I'll give a brief overview for you of what there is to do. First, we'll go over the characters. There are 4 dwarfs that you play as, and they all play very differently from one another, aside from the fact that they all look like Trevor from GTA 5. First, we have the Driller. This dude's got a flamethrower that's almost as big as my dick. I'm sure you can guess how he got his name, but just in case you weren't sure. The second dwarf is the Engineer, and if you know how engineers work in video games, then, he builds turrets. Of course he builds turrets. But when he isn't smacking his hammer onto metal, he can stand his own ground with his combat shotgun and a fucking grenade launcher.
I'm just a with a rocket launcher.
Oh yeah, and he has a platform gun that shoots platforms. Now we have the Gunner, who has a big gun, obviously, along with a zipline launcher that is comically slow. Like, this footage is sped up by 2 times. He's also got a pretty cool force field for him to camp in while he pumps lead into his foes. And finally, we have the Scout. This fella's got a basic ass assault rifle, a double barrel shotgun, and a grappling hook that he can zip around with like he's frickin' Miles Morales or something. Now once you pick one of these hairy, buff men to be your main for the next 48 hours of your life, you should make your way over to the equipment table. Now every dwarf has a primary and secondary weapon, a support tool, and a traversal tool. Every single weapon and piece of equipment can be upgraded with stuff like reload speed or damage, but you can also unlock new and unique weapons for your dwarf's primary and secondaries, such as a Scout who can get dual pistols that basically make you Tracer from Overwatch, and a fucking M1 Garand. It even has the ping. Now before we even get into the gameplay, let's buy ourselves some drip. Now the way this game works is by selecting missions in this terminal right here. Instead of selecting missions at random, you would have this little white diamond above a mission. This is an assignment. Once you complete the first assignment the game gives you, you will unlock the assignment board. Assignments are basically quests and give you certain missions to complete, which provide some structure to missions instead of doing whatever you feel like. Once completed, these assignments grant an award, which can be new weapons or crafting materials. So basically, if you keep doing the missions with the little diamond, you should always be progressing. There are 8 different mission types in total. Mining expedition, where you need to mine and collect this ore called morkite. Egg hunt, where you collect alien eggs. Salvage, where you need to salvage these mini mules. On-site refining, where you build pipes from this refinery to morkite wells. Point extraction, where you need to collect acorns. Acorns? Escort duty, where you need to escort this dumb whingy bulldozer that doesn't shut up. Elimination, where you need to find and kill these big bugs called dreadnoughts, and industrial sabotage, where you find and hack these rival tech pods. Each mission has both a primary and secondary objective, and on top of that there are a bunch of random events that can occur while you're playing. Along with the caves being procedurally generated, this makes every mission different from the last. There are also a lot of enemies in the game, which I'm not going to really cover, but I'll mention a few. These 2 are the most common ones you'll see, but you also got the Spitter, the one from Half-Life, and the oh crap, I shit my pants. Now we can finally get into actual gameplay. Now the game encourages you to play co-op, hence the different classes, but you can of course still play as a lonely little bitch boy if you feel like it. If you want to play co-op, you can play online in case you don't have any teammates, and the community of DRG is insanely friendly and welcoming. Co-op is fun, but solo is also a great time, and playing alone does make it easier to notice more details that you otherwise wouldn't find while playing co-op. Now because you are the adventurous spelunker you are, and you decide to play solo, you'll be accompanied by this robot called Bosco. Now Bosco's a pretty handy little fellow. He can do everything a normal teammate can do, except the E-sex.
You like that, baby?
When you pull out your little laser pointer, you can ping minerals, enemies, and objects, and he will either mine, attack, or carry it, depending on what you ping. The gameplay most relies on dropping in, mine some stuff, especially this red stuff. Trust me, this stuff is important. And then depositing it into this slow ass robot and getting the fuck out of there. Simple? Well, it is. And that's Deep Rock Galactic. Thanks for watching. Obviously there's more to it than that, but there's no 20 level iceberg lore to the game. The deepest story there really is who the fuck is Carl? If I were to describe DRG, it'd be Left 4 Dead Power Wash Simulator. We have the intense fights and swarms of bugs that rely on good use of both your weapons and equipment, along with the laid back, no stress mining and collecting of minerals that overflows my dopamine receptors. This synergy between intense hyper gameplay and satisfying gathering creates a gameplay loop that really feels unique. Most missions usually take around 20 to 40 minutes to complete, but the game really feels involving, and as you enter the flow state, you really become transfixed and engrossed in the tasks you are ordered to complete. Along with knowing there are rewards waiting for you back on the space rig once you finished up down here, you feel obligated to complete the missions. It feels less like a chore and more like a fun job, if you will. The game makes you feel employed in a sense, but without the 9 to 5 and hassling co-workers. Before I said there was no lore to this game, and for the most part, that's true. But if there's no story in the game, then what hooks the player? Let me introduce you to the progression. Deep Rock Galactic's progression system is fantastic. It kind of reminds me of the way old Fortnite was when it was actually a good game. Back in Season 5 when I was a feeble and vulnerable default, before I started spending my millions of battle passes and bundles, I'd play with the sole goal of completing all the new challenges that were released that week to gain any sort of customization. I remember being so happy once I got the dope ass back bling and the gentleman's dab emote from the free battle pass. Nowadays though, I got the locker of a billionaire playboy. Sorry, got a bit off track there. But the point is, I was fully invested in grinding out the challenges and I was so involved in the goals I'd set. Now, I'm not saying DRG is like Fortnite, since that would be absurd, but the point is, I like grinding challenges and achieving goals in video games. There is a lot of ways to do this in Deep Rock. Simply playing the game, you can complete milestones to unlock perks, completing assignments to unlock new weapons, currency and crafting materials, leveling up each dwarf to unlock new upgrades for weapons and equipment, along with new cosmetic items you can purchase. There's so many things to unlock and upgrade in this game that no matter what you're working towards, you're always progressing. There is literally hundreds of hours of content in this game, and unlike some games where there's so many buttons and everything's in your face, DRG makes sure to ease the players into everything and explain everything so it doesn't become too overwhelming. When you first start playing, pretty much the only thing you'll have unlocked is the characters. You will be introduced to all the missions gradually, while also learning how to upgrade, customize, and how to use the characters' weapons and equipment. Once you complete each mission at least once and you know how to play the game, you unlock the assignment board where you unlock other parts in the game. But the thing I love most is that there's no main menu screen where you need to click around a million menus and read a bunch of stuff. Everything you need is on the space rig. You can walk around and physically interact with everything. This just makes the game more engaging and overall more immersive. The biggest bit of progression comes from getting a dwarf up to level 25 and you can promote him. From being promoted for the first time, you unlock deep dives and the forge. Deep dives are like longer missions and are used to collect matrix cores that can then be used to gain overclocks to add a modification to your weapons. It's a little bit complex, but like I said, the game doesn't just hand it to you and force everything onto you. It likes to hold your hand, give you everything bit by bit. I like it. Deep Rock Galactic is a very charming game, and there are plenty of small little things that really make me fall in love with it even more. When it comes to monetization, this is something DRG perfects. The game is about 45 Australian dollars on Steam, but it regularly goes on sale for as low as $15, and for having no extra DLC or any other content to buy, this is an absolute steal. The only extra DLC you can purchase is purely cosmetic, so you don't even miss out on anything if you don't buy them, and you actively have to go out of your way just to search and find the store page in game. It's great. This system makes me want to buy these packs, just so I can support the developers and show some love and appreciation. Like other games, however, Deep Rock also does have a season pass, but it's free. There's no microtransactions and all the content is available to you as soon as you buy the game. It's a sad reality that this is something that a game is praised for having, but in a world where greedy game companies pump out lazy garbage just to squeeze every dime out of their consumers, it's fresh to see new games such as Deep Rock having such a healthy monetization system. I think Deep Rock has a bright future, and with news of a new roguelike being developed similar to DRG, there's no telling telling where this game is going to end up. Derg now fits into the rotation of games I regularly turn to. Great devs, fantastic monetization, satisfying progression, engaging gameplay, and hundreds of hours of content are all things that guarantee success for a video game. And I think DRG is one of the games I've played that does it best. I think it's safe to say Deep Rock Galactic is pretty good. What are your thoughts on Deep Rock Galactic?
Pretty cute. I'd make out with Deep Rock.